The long-awaited appeal for the incarcerated dancehall star Vybz Kartel and his co-accused Andre St. John, Kahira Jones, Sean Storm Campbell, and the man himself that we call Vybz Kartel got underway in the Privy Council Court in the UK today. Hi again and welcome. This is Links 007 TV Let's Talk, and we're about to discuss this on the program. If it's the first time you're watching, please remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell and click on all so you're always updated with our latest report. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. This is Links 007 TV Let's Talk. This is the place where we discuss issues of national importance, global importance, or the situation that are buzzing in the news. So the hearing of the incarcerated dancehall star got underway today in the UK Privy Council, and it began sharp on time at 10:30 and concluded at 4 p.m. UK time. Many fans right across the world tune in to the actual court hearing itself. However, I'm not going to actually show you the actual proceedings of the court based on the regulation and stipulation of the UK court system and based on what was stated on their website, based on the fact that this court hearing should not be redistributed or edited in any form. So I can't actually show you the actual hearing of the court. However, I can provide you with some details as it relates to what took place in court and what's to come for tomorrow in the actual court hearing. So the UK's Judicial Committee of the Privy Council began hearing the appeal of lawyers representing Vybz Kartel and his three co-convicts, including fellow DJ Sean Storm, on Wednesday morning. The four appellants, Vybz Kartel, renamed Adidja Palmer, Sean Campbell, Kahira Jones, and Andre St. John, were convicted of the murder of Clive Lizard Williams on the 13th of March 2014. They are seeking to have the conviction squashed by the Privy Council. If the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, which began hearing the actual appeal case today, decided that this conviction is to be quashed, this will see dancehall entertainer Vybz Kartel, Kahira Jones, Andre St. John, and Sean Campbell, more popularly known as Sean Storm, will become a free man in the country of Jamaica. They have been incarcerated for some time now, and as you know, the health condition of dancehall entertainer Vybz Kartel has deteriorated since he has been incarcerated. These are some of the grounds that the lawyers representing Vybz Kartel are trying to seek a judicial review of the actual case itself in order to see how best they can come to some level of understanding of how the dancehall entertainer and his co-accused were convicted of the murder of Clive Lizard Williams. His medical condition is also another key factor that his lawyers are trying to use to see if they can free the entertainer. There have been other assumptions made today in court and actually evidence being presented in the Privy Council about a juror that was on the case of Vybz Kartel conviction and how he tried to bribe others in order to deter them from making a conviction of the incarcerated dancehall star. With those grounds, the lawyers representing Vybz Kartel seem as if they have a substantial evidence and a substantial case to be presented to the Privy Council. At one point in time, you could see Paula Llewellyn in the background as well. I did not actually watch the full proceeding of the actual case itself. However, I garnered much information as it relates. I think I missed out about 15 minutes of it. But Paula Llewellyn was also in court as well, along with others from the prosecution team. However, I must point out that the key lawyer representing Vybz Kartel, Jamaican-born Isaac Buchanan, delivered a wonderful defense in the eyes of many for the world to see. Isaac Buchanan took the stand in the Privy Council among the Judicial Review Committee, and I can tell you that he articulated himself well and put up a good defense and also raised some real underlying factors about the case and how the Jamaican justice system came to the conclusion of actually deciding that Vybz Kartel was actually guilty. Based on their own assumption of the case itself and others that were actually in court today, it's very clear that certain human rights might have been breached and certain things that have been done in the justice system in Jamaica might have breached certain rights and certain fundamental rights of Vybz Kartel and his co-accused. However, whether or not Vybz Kartel will be free of this charge that is over his head for some time now, that still remains a mystery for many. However, the case will be mentioned tomorrow again in the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, and many people have been tuning in and watching it all over the world. Thousands of people have been tuning in and just hoping and praying that this day will come when they actually get the final results of what's to come from this case itself. However, with this said, and the conclusion of the Privy Council case tomorrow and the actual review of the actual trial itself, and I know that many people are actually hoping that after the conclusion of the case tomorrow, they will just have to wait like a few more days in order to get the actual result of the actual case itself. However, that is not to be, as many will have to wait, I think, 2 to 3 months in order to get the actual final decision of the Court of Appeal. So after a trial lasting 64 days before the trial judge and jury in the Home Circuit Court in Kingston, Jamaica, the appellants were convicted of Clive Lizard Williams' murder. The prosecution case was that the appellants murdered Clive Lizard Williams on August 16, 2011, after he failed to return two unlicensed firearms which Adidja Palmer had given to him for safekeeping. The Privy Council hearing started today around 5:30 a.m. Jamaica time or 10:30 a.m. in London. Up to the time of the break, the attorneys for the appellants were discussing the likely effect of the juror that is accused of attempting to bribe others, the likely effect that that might have had on the case. During the actual proceedings of the trial itself and the actual conviction of Vybz Kartel, there were certain key and underlying factors that came to light as it relates to the cell phone evidence, the juror being tampered with. Some of those submissions were not actually accepted by the Privy Council, especially the one that tampering with the actual phone itself that was used to convict Vybz Kartel. That was thrown out of the actual hearing itself, so that is not actually a part of what is being submitted. So what the defense team now is actually relying on is the tampering of the actual juror himself who tried to bribe others in the actual case, and also the medical condition of Vybz Kartel, who is very ill at this point in time based on the fact that he has been incarcerated for some time, not getting the proper ventilation in where he's been housed, and there are so many underlying factors right now that actually going to actually steer this case into where it should be. But whether or not the case will actually go in the direction of where many would want to see it go, we just have to wait until the actual case itself submission and all the submission of evidence and those counter evidence that actually being brought forward in the actual case itself now come to light. But based on what I've heard today in the actual case itself, the defense team representing Vybz Kartel in the hearing in the Privy Council Court today, I believe, put up the best fight there is in the actual case itself. And if I was supposed to rate the actual case itself, I will give hats off to the defense team representing Vybz Kartel in this actual hearing that was held today. However, the final decision is up to the Privy Council, and one just have to wait and see how the actual hearing will actually turn out to be. But many people have been tuning in right over the world to actually see the actual hearing itself and just to get a first-hand view of what is being presented in the court of law and how these are being handled, with especially some real chilling matters as it relates to money being offered to others that were a part of the jurors that led to the landslide conviction of one of Jamaica's most talented and celebrated dancehall superstar, Vybz Kartel. But based on the Privy Council ruling today and based on the actual case submissions that were actually held in the Privy Council, it's very clear that certain rights of Vybz Kartel might have been breached by based on how the actual proceeding of the court itself was actually handled in Jamaica, because there is no way you can secure a conviction in a case such as this where one of the main individuals that are a part of the conviction team or a part of those that will make the final decision as it relates to Vybz Kartel, whether he is guilty or not, it turns out to be that he was actually trying to bribe others on the actual stand itself. So, with that said, based on those points were actually brought up in the Privy Council hearing today, there is no way that the case should have gone through with this in mind. So, that is some of the points or pointers that have been raised in this case itself. So, you should have had a new jury or even a new trial being offered to Vybz Kartel, which was not the case, based on the fact that evidence were being tampered with. There are so many underlying factors in relation to this case, but it's just those that have been submitted or offered for submission and accepted. Those are the grounds on which the lawyer representing Vybz Kartel or the lawyers right now representing Vybz Kartel have to take the stand in order to represent the dancehall star in order to see how best they can secure his freedom in the year 2024. However, we'll just have to wait and see what tomorrow brings, what other submissions will be made, and how this case will actually turn out for Andre St. John, Kahira Jones, Adidja Palmer, and Sean Campbell. Those are the actual individuals that have been convicted of the murder of Clive Lizard Williams that took place some years ago. All of them have been incarcerated for a number of years right now, and I know that all of them would want to walk free from this case. But this is just an eye opener for many out there right now. Based on what you see happen to Vybz Kartel, it's just an eye opener for many to see that badness doesn't pay. If you're an entertainer, you're an entertainer. You can't be doing both things. And these are some of the things that others will get caught up in because look, how many of them are behind bars at this current moment for taking the life or allegedly taking the life of an individual based on what happened in the actual case? We will never know, and it's up to the court to decide. But this just goes to show you that whatever happens in life, it will come back to haunt you in the end, especially when you're least aware of what you have done. But this is the case of Vybz Kartel. We'll continue to just track this story and we'll have more details to come on this in a later report. But just tell me what you think about the actual hearing itself today, who have watched it. You can just drop it in the comment section. What do you think about it? Do you believe that Vybz Kartel stand a chance? Or do you believe that this is just a fight that he will never win? This has been Links 007 TV. Let's talk. Peace out and have a blessed and productive day.